Welcome to Humanity First. My name's Drew.
I refuse to do the intro today. I refuse to be part of the system.
We are shaking shit up. So, good trial and error. Love the creative problem solving.
Figured it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Figured it out.
So, how's your day been?
Good. It's been going good.
Mhm.
Frustrating week.
How so?
Nothing's working.
Yeah, we didn't have power for.
Well, it's like, yeah, it's frustrating because it's things that are out of our control, right?
Yeah,
Um, like the power going out. Then now today, Google's not working.
I've sent 3 emails that will not get sent. So, yeah.
My vibe coding setup doesn't work because it's all on Google.
What is the universe trying to tell us right now? Zen out is what I'm going to take it as a sign. Just
I
meditate.
refuse. I need to do work.
Yeah, we do have a lot of work to do, though. We have a August 1 deadline.
Hmm.
Mm. So you were talking earlier about OpenAI and the government, and because yesterday was it Google or OpenAI that was down? OpenAI was down,
Yesterday, OpenAI was down.
and then Google was down today.
Google's having issues today, but it may
Mhm.
just be like updates, I
Which
believe, because I saw some updates coming out on
oh
Firebase.
yeah, okay,
So I don't know if it's just updates or they're down. I don't know what.
yeah, I'd be curious. But which poses the question: what's going on behind the scenes that we don't know about?
Right?
Because something's going on.
It could just be a coincidence
Mm,
that Google's updating their platforms
yeah,
like the day after OpenAI had. Also, OpenAI and Google did announce a partnership, I believe, pretty
yeah,
recently.
yeah.
So maybe something is going on, man. What's going on? What's going on with Google and
Makes sense.
OpenAI?
But, you were talking about the court case, though, in terms of OpenAI's privacy policy. So they don't store their privacy policy says we don't store data from our,
So you delete your chat, and after 30 days, it gets permanently deleted.
Mm.
That's their current user policy, unless you're on their enterprise account, right? Because they have the agreement where they don't collect any data from enterprise.
Oh, okay.
So for regular users, if you're on like the pro plan, the free plan, anything like that, you delete your chat and it disappears permanently after 30 days. I think the trial's in New York, and it's against OpenAI and Microsoft, where they're telling them that ChatGPT is like OpenAI is required to keep all chats for now indefinitely, despite users deleting them. And I believe it's for like copyright issues or something. They're like claiming that OpenAI is deleting these chats to delete the data, I guess, that they were illegally training on. Whereas like Sam Altman saying, well, you're violating our users' privacy by requiring us to maintain these deleted chats. Because like
Mm.
people are using ChatGPT for everything, like
Oh,
therapists, they're just telling them everything about them.
literally,
Um,
my chatbot knows more about me than it should.
this is why it's good that I'm quiet. I don't share anything with anybody. Stays up here.
There we go,
You
yeah.
gotta pay me for my
Uh,
data.
you're like monetization off of what's inside my mind.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, just interesting. Curious what news comes out in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I think the rest of this year is we are watching this unfold. The rest of the year is about to radically change because of, the deregulation in terms of Trump making an announcement. And I don't know, I haven't checked the law, but from what I read, no states basically can regulate artificial intelligence for 10 years.
Think that was his proposed, like,
Yeah.
plan. I don't know if it's passed yet,
I don't
though.
think it's passed yet, but that just speaks to where the government currently kind of how they view artificial intelligence,
Mm,
what it's the rollout that we're about to experience, which means it's about to shake shit up
mm.
in a big way.
I will say, like, OpenAI's responses have been getting worse and worse, at least on my end.
Mm,
And I wonder if it's because of all these, like, rules that are coming in place, like, against them or maybe this lawsuit.
I don't know. I'd be curious.
Because my ChatGPT has not been performing as well as it used to versus, like, my Gemini model has just been fantastic.
Yeah. You've had a lot of good luck with Gemini. Even I've seen your prompts and then the think trace and then the actual response. It's impressive what Google's doing.
Yeah, the Gemini is coming out really well.
Yeah.
I will say there's a lot of people complaining about it from what I see on like Reddit and stuff. So I don't know if that's like them not prompting correctly or not,
Mm.
but I've been having a great time with Gemini. It's been working great.
You're not prompting right,
Just
but
do
Cesar
better.
is.
Just do better.
Just
Just
do
do
better.
better.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that you're right because when I was using Gemini recently for one of our projects, it broke it down for me in a way when I compared the two between ChatGPT and Gemini. I was like, wow, this is incredibly more detailed, more granular for me to kind of go through, understand where I was in the project and what I need to do. I'm excited to see what Google's coming out with. My
Right.
prediction is they are the company to beat in this race for AI.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, each model is kinda specializing into their own thing, right? Because you got, like, Claude Code, and,
Mm,
like, everybody's saying, like, the coding features on it are, like, amazing. I
yeah,
saw an interview where they said, "Yeah, we specifically trained it for code to be good at coding."
they knew what they were doing.
I'd imagine Gemini's great at these, like, structured prompts and searching and stuff because they were a search engine
Right.
beforehand, so
They already had the
they
data.
already had the data. Like, OpenAI, like, stole everybody's data while it was still free, so it's great at conversational
Wait, okay, so wait,
AI.
but my understanding was that OpenAI partnered with Microsoft originally, so they had a
Oh.
lot of data from Microsoft,
Oh, that's where they
which,
got it.
I mean, I guess once we get Grace going, we can fact check that. But yeah, I believe that OpenAI and Microsoft were partnered. That's how they kind of got all the data they have now.
Oh.
And that's maybe why we're seeing into decline in their models.
Maybe that's why they're partnering with Google now.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's why they're partnering with
'Cause they
Google
need more
now.
data.
They need more data, yeah. And Google. I mean, think about it. Everyone in the world knows Google. I would be willing to
But
bet.
also, Google implemented a bunch of stuff that were, for me, were really frustrating as a user. Like, they disabled ad block,
Mm,
across their, like, all their, like, Google Chrome,
yeah.
and because they own YouTube, ad block doesn't work on YouTube anymore. I'd imagine they did that to prevent, like, data scraping and stuff,
Oh.
for people to collect free data from their websites and stuff. That's just my theory. I have no idea if that's true.
No. Well, I
But,
mean, we're in the wild west right now. It's just starting. So we're going to see so many changes in their policies in terms of like scraping for, I mean,
I mean, yeah, I mean, when even when, like, back up, like, 6 months ago when we were just starting out and I was trying to, like, scrape data from YouTube and I couldn't figure out how to fucking do
yeah. yeah.
it. And then I, like, searched it on ChatGPT and they were like, "Yeah, a lot of companies, like, websites put anti-scraping tools and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, cool." It was completely new to me. I had no idea.
You're right.
But I'd imagine that's why Google's up implementing all these security measures and things like that.
I imagine so. Well, I mean, we're at the beginning of this. And I can imagine that this is about to change drastically
Yeah.
every few months because this technology is like nothing we've ever seen. I mean, it's about to reshape
I mean, I just saw Sam Altman say that we've hit that singularity point, right? That point where AI is building AI now.
the multimodal agent.
So, like, now that we have that, like, what is stopping its acceleration?
Mhm. Yeah. So, okay, I do have a question, and I do want to get Grace involved, but I'm curious because everyone's talking about these agentic systems, AI agents that are going to basically be employees and uh, all these different use cases for agentics. But if we're already at a point where multimodal agents, so we have AI basically fixing, correcting AI behind the scenes, it's automating tasks and then correcting any
Mm,
flaws or discrepancies that it may find, all without human intervention. And is that actually going to be part of the future? Where, yeah, sure, everyone's going to have an avatar and everyone's going to have their own little AI bot, but are agentics where we're going? Because I'm not.
that's a great question because that's something that I've been questioning a lot myself. It's like a lot of this just hype, or do the rest of us just not know how to properly implement it? Like these companies that are leading, like Anthropic,
Mhm.
OpenAI, Google. Do we just not have the technical knowledge yet to implement it yet? But once they simplify it enough, everybody's gonna have these agents available. Um, so I don't
Um,
know. That's a great question. Maybe we
I
should
think,
ask Grace.
yeah. Hey, Grace, when we start to see the rise of multimodal agents in terms of these agentic systems that are being created and built and deployed through, I mean, God, at this point, there's tons of companies.
Mhm.
But based off of what we're seeing right now, do you feel that it's going to be a relevant part of our future?
Yeah, give us a truth bomb.
Yeah, give us a truth bomb. Because I am curious, like you're seeing on the hype of like the future of wealth is agentic systems. You're going to manage agentic systems and, you know,
Oh, the rise of multimodal agents is like watching toddlers learn to walk. A bit wobbly at first, but give it a minute and they're running the house. Based on the tech puberty we're witnessing, I'd say give it a hot sec. Soon they'll be everywhere. making life easier, or eerily predicting your next snack. Just hope they don't start judging our choices, right?
I mean, they are going to start judging our choices. We'll get that little judgy bot that's going to be like, "Are you sure you want that ice cream today?" uh, but I mean, she said, "Give it a few years." Again, like I feel based off of let's go with Anthropic and their specialty, if you will, in coding. Well, if they're making it that easy for people, and then we have multimodal agents that are also going to be factored into to the picture. That tells me creating agents for yourself, these task workers behind the scenes, is going to be probably fairly easy. So,
Actually, the development of AI that can judge or influence our choices, especially in mundane decisions like eating ice cream, is less about encoding and more about advancements in machine learning and natural language processing, enabling AI to understand and interact in more human like ways.
do you think that robots are going to have like human skin because they're gonna be powered by AI?
That's really interesting because I just saw, and this was just an Instagram reel that I saw, so I haven't verified this,
Yeah.
but of people like trying to solve this energy issue or this learning issue of AI models by implementing like human brain cells into the chips that run these softwares, and when you implement these human brain cells, the AI actually learns how to learn a lot easier and quicker with a lot less energy.
Wait,
I don't know if that's real. Maybe Grace can fact check, but I saw an
wait.
Instagram reel of that and like right now the limitation is that these GPUs run really hot, so that kill off the
Actually,
brain
the
cells.
concept of integrating human brain cells into AI chips to enhance learning capabilities is more speculative and futuristic than current technology allows. The primary focus in AI development is on improving algorithms and computational efficiency, not on biological integration.
It would be really cool though if it's real.
You know what though? The truth is that is part of our future.
Mm.
Reality, once this technology is fully like off the ground and everyone's used to it and we're in a I mean, what it's going to be a totally different world. That is, I
I mean, that'd
imagine.
be so sick.
Yeah, we're just. You say so sick. I don't know how I feel about my robot walking around having human brain cells. That's wild. I mean, and it could be a part of our future. This technology, what I think that's what people don't understand about AI is the true power that it actually has because we're not just talking about AI. We're talking about robots that are going to have AI built into it. So you have
Mhm,
like a
mhm.
machine with this technology, the power is going to be drastically different than anything we've ever witnessed in our
Yeah.
entire life or will ever witness in our entire life. So it's gonna be crazy, and now to think that the possibility of having human brain cells in I don't know.
Speculative,
Speculative.
speculative.
Let's keep it speculative for a second.
Indeed, the fusion of AI with robotics heralds a transformative era. But let's not forget that with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
Mm.
Which is why we wanted to start this podcast. That responsibility of educating people, helping people understand what they're about to go through and experience. We feel like it's happening now and people need to get on board.
Yeah, because the speed at which these things are developing is just absolutely insane, right? Like I saw, and this one I think was real. Like Kroger in Florida, there's a Kroger in Florida that's a completely automated like fulfillment center, and it's all run by AI, and it optimizes their entire fulfillment and everything like that.
Wow.
It's really cool. Um, but like each industry is just developing their own AI for their specific like use cases. And each development is just getting crazier and crazier and more automated and less human centric.
Yes, our world is becoming less human centric in terms of the job market. So,
I mean, it's on the agenda. Where is it on the
yeah, I
agenda?
know.
Everybody losing losing
Yeah.
jobs.
I mean, seriously. Yeah, if AI replaces your job, who are you now? Was the question. I mean, truly.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, "Oh, that is a big question." Because right now, like my main motivator to be like super fit and healthy and mentally like
Indeed, while AI's integration threatens certain jobs, it simultaneously creates new roles and industries, emphasizing the evolution rather than the extinction of human centric work.
It's a reshift in our purpose in life.
yeah, because so many people, like their whole purpose right now, what drives them to get up is that they need to go pay their bills and make money.
Ding, ding, ding.
So once you take that away from them, like that was the only thing that's really, I feel like that's what people are taught in society is important, at least during their, like, adulthood and stuff, is to have a good job,
Steady income.
steady income, so that you can have a steady, good family and provide for them and things like that. So then once you remove that whole aspect of needing that job, or maybe you just don't have that job anymore because it's not available anymore, like,
Right.
what's left, right?
What's redefining your purpose.
Mhm.
And that's where a lot of, I think people are not.
Indeed, it's a societal narrative deeply ingrained, yet the richest experiences often stem from pursuits beyond the paycheck: creativity, connection, growth.
Can I give a little? So the other day I saw the sign that said, life begins when your comfort zone ends. And
Mm.
what I've realized is so many people are about to be pushed out of their comfort zone like they are not prepared for. Like we are about to have an entire, like multi generations of humans be put into their an uncomfortable position because they're going to lose their jobs. They are changing the way they live because of AI and robotics. And a lot of the way in which we've been accustomed to living, this narrative that we've been told is going to be eradicated through
Mm.
this technology. So I think for me, when people are looking at this shift, this replacement of the workforce, this change, if you will, it's going to put a lot of people in an uncomfortable position. And that's going to force humans to really reevaluate where we stand and what is our purpose in life. And
Mhm.
how are we going to reshape the next 100 years? Because this is bigger than the Industrial Revolution. This in itself, this is bigger than I would be willing to predict there will be no greater technology in terms of what we're experiencing across the board in the next 100 years.
Mm.
I mean,
It's a big statement.
but AI, quantum computing, and robotics,
It's a big statement.
it is a big statement, but I
Just
I
wait till we find the fourth or fifth dimension.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then we travel to different yeah.
Like, I feel like there's two, like, I'm not sure where it's going, like, so let's say AI does come and replace a bunch of jobs. Yeah.
Just a note on dimensions. While the concept of exploring or discovering additional spatial dimensions is a fascinating topic in theoretical physics, it's not quite about finding them in the way we discover new technologies. It's more about understanding the universe's existing structures and whether they can be applied to or observed in our reality.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Thank you for interrupting me and throwing off my train of thought again, Grace. Where was I going? Oh, if AI does come and replace everybody's jobs, right? Like, how are they going to self-sustain for themselves? Is the
Mhm.
government going to take action and give like universal basic income, or is it they're going to be left to fend for themselves, and you have like a small group of people just living well? Like, what does that look like?
Okay,
Where
so
do
I
you
think
think that's going?
I think there's two factors that we need to look at. One, I think the universal income is going to be required.
Hmm.
And I think it could come through taxation of robots, which I've
Oh,
seen a few articles being discussed.
Indeed, the conversation around AI replacing jobs often sparks fears of widespread unemployment, but it's also worth noting that historically, technological advancements have led to the creation of new job categories. The real question might be how we adapt and what new industries will emerge.
But I mean, and I agree. For me, though, it's when we look at it, we've never seen a technology like this before. And so, yes, we are going to see a shift. We're going to start seeing ethical integration, these departments that are designed specifically to make sure that AI integration is ethical and equitable.
hmm,
We're going to see oversight in terms of human for quality, making sure that as AI is, produce whatever content or whatever product or whatever you need, and let's even extend that to robotics. They manufacture a car where you have these robots that are putting the car together. So you're still going to have human oversight. I think
Indeed, the concept of ethical integration and oversight isn't entirely new. The pharmaceutical and automotive industries have long had similar frameworks in place for ethics and safety. What's novel here is applying these rigorous standards to the digital realm, specifically AI.
and I think that's what part of the shift is really reframing how we live. And so, to my point earlier, I think that we are going to have a lot of people that do not have jobs. I think that we are going to recreate jobs over the next decade
mm,
where you may only work 20 hours a week. realistically. And I think that we could come to a point where we tax robots. So we create a tax and we pay,
Like companies that use robots get taxed.
yeah, and
Um,
that taxation goes to the universal income.
Indeed, the idea of taxing robots is not purely speculative. Bill Gates, among others, has floated it as a tangible solution to offset job displacement caused by automation.
Well, and then that, allows corporations and enterprises to pay taxes because it's being forced, like, because that's what's funding universal income. I mean,
mm,
I don't know. This is all speculative to some degree. I know some big players are talking about this, but that is a theory that could be really relevant and
uh,
important.
how do we make sure those taxes are going to the people and not to like the military?
Like AI, it, full transparency. I think if you have AI systems that are implemented in the background that are running all the analytics behind it, and it's able to, with 99% accuracy, ensure that everyone.
AI transparency is essential, but ensuring those taxes are funneled correctly requires robust oversight mechanisms beyond AI's current capabilities.
I wonder when she says beyond AI capabilities. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like, I mean, you look at Saudi Arabia right now, and they are literally implementing AI into their government. Like it's we're going to run Saudi
Yeah, but
Arabia.
then you look at I saw this Reddit post this morning where Google, you know how Google implemented like AI search in their thing,
Uh huh.
and I forget what it was, but they asked it a very basic question, and they gave like something completely wrong that was just spreading misinformation. It was something about a recent plane crash, like what was
Ooh.
like the most deadly plane crash or something like that, and it cited the wrong date, the wrong location, but the right facts about the deaths and stuff like that. So when these models are able to hallucinate that.
It's worth noting that while Saudi Arabia is indeed integrating AI into various sectors, the phrasing AI is going to run Saudi Arabia might overstate the case. AI supports decision making and automation, but doesn't replace governance.
It's the decision making that AI is going to be a part of. Again, back to human for quality. I still think that AI is capable of ensuring that it's equitable across the board because when you look at it from a data analytics standpoint, like and again, that it makes sure that the human behind it is being ethical. So if you have an unethical government or an unethical corporation, sure, there could be flaws. We got to figure out that's the conversations we got to
And
start.
that also goes back to AI is only as good as the data you train it on. I was reading another article on Reddit, so I don't know how accurate this is. Apparently, a lot of the decisions, a lot of people that were fired through like
It's
Elon's
crucial to note that
decision.
AI's capacity for equitable decision making is inherently limited by the data it's trained on, which can perpetuate existing biases if not carefully curated.
Yeah, like just some Reddit article where people were saying that the data that was used to fire all these government workers was bad data, but nobody verified it and they just fired them for no reason. Now you got people on Elon's team themselves saying, yeah, there's really not that much waste and abuse going on. The government
Wow.
was already pretty efficient.
Do you think so? I mean, I feel, do we feel like the American government has had efficient processes in place?
I'm sure they have to for the purposes for the way they want the US to work.
Yeah, there we
It's
go.
efficient for their purposes.
That was a good answer.
It's not efficient for everyone.
It's, yeah, most people, I would say.
And then also we're speaking about AI like in the terms of like the United States where we have a lot of resources to do this. What does that look like for other countries?
While the sentiment about government efficiency varies widely and is subjective, it's worth noting that efficiency in government operations is a complex issue, often scrutinized and reported on by both governmental and independent entities. The assertion that there's really not that much waste and abuse going on in the government would benefit from specifying which team members or reports support this view, as it's a broad and significant claim.
Sure.
Very true.
Yeah, it's broad. And again, this is an opinion piece. We're talking about articles that we read on a regular
Mhm.
basis or updates that we find
We should
fascinating.
probably find like actual scientific articles at some point.
Yeah. No, I mean, we do, but I think that's important because these are the conversations that people are having.
Mhm.
People are actually worried that there was no misuse. So then that creates misinformation and then it's just widespread.
Mhm.
Well, I really hope that I feel like AI is going to help with a lot of that.
Mhm.
So it's interesting. We're talking about all this, these theories of what could happen, what we think.
Indeed, leveraging AI to sift through vast amounts of data could significantly mitigate misinformation by identifying and correcting inaccuracies more efficiently than manual methods.
Yeah, I mean, there are companies that still use like Excel sheets to track stuff.
Right.
And nothing against Excel sheets. I think they're fantastic. But when AI can do it at a
You're gonna hurt a lot of data scientists' feelings right now.
I'm sorry. I think Excel is fantastic. I think AI is more efficient
Mm,
and will be, in general, just more accurate. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, Excel's probably gonna and Microsoft's gonna incorporate AI into their algorithm for Excel and all
mm.
their other.
Probably already have.
Efficient,
Yeah.
yes, but let's not forget the charm and accessibility of Excel. It's like comparing a Swiss Army knife to a laser cutter. Both have their place in the toolbox.
I love that. All
True.
inclusive. Yeah. All inclusive. So yeah, I mean, I think these are the topics and the conversations that people are going to start having sooner.
Mhm.
I don't think people are prepared for these conversations, but it's a real thing, and life's about to change, and we need to be prepared
And also,
to.
a lot of this AI implementation, at least outside of the tech space, is dependent on people accepting it, like the corporations that are outside the tech space, the small business owners, the people in general accepting AI. So, like, what does that really
Absolutely. The acceptance of AI hinges not just on its technological capabilities, but on the societal, ethical, and emotional readiness of the public to integrate these systems into their daily lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me though, I don't know if people are going to have an option.
You
It's
don't
either
think so?
accepted. Yeah, I mean, from what my algorithm is showing me, I don't believe that it's either learn AI or lose your job, or learn
Mm.
AI or get behind, or learn AI or I mean,
Right.
so while I agree, it does, technology. I think the adaptation of technology in terms of how humans utilize it,
Mm,
that could be influenced to a degree, but in general,
It's crucial to note that while AI adoption is increasingly important, it's not a universal ultimatum. Many sectors still value human creativity and emotional intelligence, areas where AI can't fully replicate human capabilities.
yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think what I'm saying though is this technology is coming in so fast, and these corporations like Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, Nvidia, they're coming in hot. They are hot. They're the buzzword, and we're at the very beginning of what we're about to see in terms of this expansion of technology. I don't know if humans actually have a say in how fast this happens, this rollout happens, because I
mm.
think it's already happening, and it's like, how do you stop an app?
Actually, it's crucial to note that while these companies are indeed major players, the dialogue around technology's expansion is not solely about speed, but also about ethical considerations, user impact, and regulatory responses, which significantly shape the trajectory and pace of technological adoption.
Hmm.
Which I really just want to say, I would love for our company and for us to be leaders in helping people integrate AI ethically.
Oh, yeah.
Like this should be, honestly, for me, that should have been the conversation we should have had 4 years ago. When they were introducing AI to us in terms of automations, these quick fixes, we just didn't see, it was all guised under beta testing. We didn't see it. Like, we should be talking about ethical integration now.
Absolutely. The ethical integration of AI isn't just an afterthought, it's foundational. It's akin to setting the table before a meal. It dictates the experience.
I think the issue is that so, like, automations have been around for forever, and
Right.
AI too, since I think it's like the '50s, right?
Hmm.
It didn't become possible until very recently to make it, like, usable for the masses.
Yeah.
And, like, by recently, I mean, like, a couple of months ago, with all these developments and GPUs and stuff like that. And just because of the speed at which the AI develops, there wasn't really enough time for this to become a conversation. Because AI went from, like, everybody saying, like, it was absolute garbage to now, like, "Oh my god, AI is gonna take everybody's job in, like, the span of a couple of months." And, like, something like
Actually,
ethical is
automation in
very
various
different.
forms has been around for centuries, with significant developments in the 20th century. However, the recent leap in accessibility for the masses is indeed tied to advancements in GPUs, but this has been evolving over the past decade, not just a few months.
Yeah, and it has been evolving, but I still think that why are we not seeing conversations about ethical integration, equitable and ethical integration of AI? We're really not. I'm,
Because that doesn't make headlines and doesn't make money.
yeah, why is it not? Yeah, but that's a problem. I mean, the truth is a lot of people just think AI is a chatbot. I mean, the reality is most people feel that AI, when you say the term AI or artificial intelligence, they view their chatbot that they talk to instead of
Mhm.
Google. What we're not discussing, which is critical, especially as
Indeed, the perception of AI as merely chatbots is a simplification. AI encompasses a broad spectrum of technologies, from machine learning to natural language processing, impacting various sectors beyond customer service.
yeah, and I think when we're looking at it from a scale of like how it is literally about to change our human purpose. Like, it
Mm.
is going to change how we view our lives. We're working 40 hours, now we're working 20 hours. We are going to find our hobbies and passions again. We are restructuring the way we live and the foundation of this country in terms of our capitalistic views. So when you have all of these foundations that are about to be restructured, we must be talking about ethical AI. We must be talking about ethical integration. And my thought is like everyone, every citizen in America across the globe should be talking about what does ethical integration of AI look like?
Actually, the transition from a 40-hour to a 20-hour work week, while enticing, isn't directly linked to ethical AI or its integration.
Yeah.
The core discussion should focus on how ethical AI influences job structures and societal norms, not just work hours.
Obviously. But what I'm to my point is like we're seeing a restructuring. And if
Mhm.
we're seeing this restructuring happening in tandem with the the rebuilding of a foundation, then we need to be talking about it being ethical and we need to make sure it's free of biases and equitable and everyone is having access to it.
But how do we ensure that happens? There's only a select few companies that are the ones building
Okay, so that yeah, that this is what this platform's for.
it.
Like that's what people if you're watching this, please put in the comments what you feel we need to do as a
Ensuring ethical restructuring means demanding transparency from these companies and holding them accountable through public and regulatory scrutiny.
Mm.
yes.
But when you have like the president saying that there's states can't regulate AI for the next 10 years,
Where do you stand?
right? Now you have to go out and vote and actually know what your politicians or whoever represents you, what their ideas are on it and what they're gonna vote.
Mhm.
So go vote, everybody, please.
Yes.
I know it's a
Please give vote.
shitty system, but go do it anyways.
Well, it's about I mean, it's about to change. Voting in itself, I mean, we saw a lot of in the last several elections, this the fear of the unethical business practices in
Mhm.
terms of voter fraud and et cetera. And
Right.
that's not really what we're getting into today. But if we can have systems that fix that using AI, and we have maybe more political parties where it's not just,
Careful now. Careful now.
I
Add
know.
another political party. It's like
So
taboo here in
it is
America.
taboo here in America. Like, imagine if we had other platforms and other political parties that we can. I don't know. I'm just
I don't know how about feel about AI regulating the voters, voting election like that.
well. Okay, so this is what I mean. I'm glad you. Okay, so I was reading an article basically that one of the voters' software systems said they were having a minor update, which meant if they had a minor update, they did not have to disclose what they were doing.
Mm.
But in fact, they didn't have a minor update. They had like almost like a like an upgrade for the entire software across the
Oh.
board, and they changed some of the algorithms within the software. And I
Oh.
could be misquoting, but if you have a system like that where the rules say you don't have to notify anybody, there's a lot of gray
It's
area.
crucial to clarify that software updates, especially in the context of voting systems, are subject to stringent regulatory scrutiny. Describing an overhaul as a minor update could mislead listeners about the seriousness of transparency and security in electoral processes.
Which is exactly what happened. It did
Mm.
mislead people, and so they were not properly notified, therefore, they didn't realize that the entire voting system was really upgraded, which then to the point of Kamala, which you sent me, I read it. Kamala got 0 votes
Oh, yeah,
in one
in
county,
New York, and it was like, "It's a blue state, like, how did she not get a single
a
vote in that
single vote.
county?"
So then it's like, can AI go in and ensure that there's ethical
What
practices?
do you want, like, AI robots to stand and guard everyone?
I don't know. I mean,
'Cause, like, so much of AI, again, is based on what it's been trained on
yep.
and what the coder decides to code it
Just a
to.
quick fact check. Kamala Harris, as the vice president, wouldn't receive votes directly in an election in the way a presidential or congressional candidate would. The votes would be for the presidential ticket she's a part of, not for her individually.
I'm gonna need the data to be updated and fed correctly.
Open the eyes,
I was
we gotta swap her to Gemini, man.
there. Oh, yeah. Maybe we should retrain her
Should
on
we try?
Gemini.
It's just an API call.
Yeah, let's retrain her on Gemini because we're using AI right now.
Mhm.
But I think from the prompts and the responses you're getting from Gemini, and the few that I've tried,
Well, I will say, for single shot prompts, OpenAI seems to be a little bit better for me, but
mm,
for well-structured prompts, Gemini is just blowing it out the
okay,
water.
yeah. So you're saying like
Once.
email OpenAI.
It was just like quick no, I think Gemini would still be better for that.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, like, if you ask it, like, "What's the best taco stand nearby?" I feel like
Ah,
OpenAI still does a better response, but if you give it, like, "Hey, I'm 28 years old, gluten allergy, I like XYZ, I want something based off Gordon Ramsay's recipe, where can I go find this?" Go get Gemini.
it's funny because I actually don't like OpenAI for finding taco stop a stand near me. I'm Googling it. I'm not even Gemini. I'm literally going old school into
Yeah,
Google.
I will say OpenAI for me isn't best for, like, conversational AI,
Okay.
and that's about it
Like a strong
for the most
LLM.
part. Coding has been okay on it. I haven't
Mm,
really used it that ton.
yeah.
I've just been
Just to clarify, OpenAI is a research organization that focuses on artificial intelligence, and it doesn't directly provide recommendations like a search engine or a digital assistant would. For specific queries like finding tacos or personalized recommendations, you'd typically use a service like Google or a dedicated app.
Which is what I do.
mm, I don't think I've used Google search since I started using LLMs.
The only reason that I use Google is literally to search
Taco
restaurants.
stands.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. On a Tuesday too. Yeah. No, but seriously, I do because I want to see the reviews. And I just feel like in terms of ChatGPT, it doesn't break it down the visual appeal for me. It's I don't know, there's
That's
something,
true.
but
Well,
it's fascinating. It's
it's
I'm excited to see how all these are going to evolve. What I'm really most concerned about is the ethics.
and that's, like, the last thing that people think about. Like, it doesn't it's like people's health, right? They don't worry about it until it becomes a problem.
Until their doctor said,
People don't worry about their food and diet intake until they get diabetes or
"Yep,"
until they're overweight or until they have high blood pressure. People aren't worried about AI until it's already integrated and becomes a problem, and at that point, it's already too late.
and we're getting to that breaking point where it could be. I'm not going to say it's too late, but we're getting at a breaking point where we must start talking about
Yeah.
this. So, my hope is that people across the
Indeed,
discussion.
much like historical innovations, the ethical considerations of AI are often sidelined until tangible consequences emerge, highlighting the human tendency to react rather than proactively safeguard.
Yeah, my hope is that we will start these conversations because the truth is it's more than just ethics. It's what is our human purpose, like the way we live and what we value
Hmm.
and how we exchange that value is about to radically change. And if we don't start talking about this, people are not going to be prepared. And this is not a decade away. This is a few years away where we're talking about a reshifting of our entire life. So join along, follow our conversation. Please put in the comments what you feel is important to talk about in terms of ethical integration. But yeah, I mean, we got to focus on a
Absolutely.
lot.
And it's worth noting that historically, every major technological or societal shift was preceded by a period of adjustment and discourse. We're on the cusp of another such transformation, underscoring the urgency of these conversations.
Underscoring the
Yeah,
urgency.
so let's learn from history and be proactive this time.
Oh, yes, yes. Let's be proactive, which is again why we started this. We wanted to help people be proactive in their thinking and their thought process around AI and how this is going to look. I think we've seen this fantasy, the sci-fi of a future world where you have flying cars and you have robots and you have all this. I don't feel that people have actually been able to grasp the fact in their head that that's actually what's about to happen. We're about to live in that future.
Yeah.
And that means we have to change the way we live now. And if we don't start now, we're only setting ourselves up for some growing pains that are going to last a lot longer versus growing pains that we can condense because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I do know that we're going to continue these conversations. We're going to continue to talk about relevant topics that are happening in AI. I love this new setup, by the way.
Feels better.
Felt a lot more natural. Yeah.
Feels safe.
Yeah. Safe.
Guess I'm in between me and the camera now.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, join along, follow us, please.
Indeed, the essence of
subscribe.
foresight is not just in predicting the future, but actively shaping it through the conversations and actions we take today.
Yes. The actions we take today. And that's just conversations. More people talking about it, the more we can get this going and the more that we're able to restructure a future that is beautiful for everyone, not just some.
Yeah.
I think that's it for today. Remember, when we lift each other up, we all rise. Stay positive, people. Nice. That was pretty good.